kids, welcome back to Roto Talk.
Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. So, I've been gone for about 10 days, family vacation down in Myrtle Beach for spring break with my daughters and my smoking hot wife. Got back on Sunday. The weather's beautiful, so we're going to get some maidens in this week, hopefully. At least the V-Box. Next thing, yesterday, instead of doing a video, I worked on the skiff, which is a different build video, as you may know, and getting that inside painted of that. We're going to go over that later today, too. So, back to our rigger. So, what I've got is the Pro Kit from or Deluxe Hardware Set, whatever you want to call it, for the R4. Alright, so we're going to go through that real quick. I don't know if I've ever bought this. Alright, so this one comes with a pre-bent shaft tube. That's what we're doing today. And it comes with the prop. Beautiful. What is this prop he sent me? This is a nice prop. I think I'll run this. Let's see, what is that sucker? A Z545, something like that. Put that up there. And then we've got... Oh, we even got a servo. Thanks, Joe. It's the exact same servo I use. Identical. Then we've got a flex shaft. Reasonably close. We have our water line. He gave me shocking whatever color. Now let's go through this. Radio kit. There's our rudder. Okay. A 25 kg servo, which is identical to what I use. At least it looks like it is. Different name brand maybe, but same principle. And you got the servo horns, things like that. Here's our strut. Alright, that's where our shaft's going to go through, and there's our bushing. Let's see, what else do we have? What other fun stuff do we have?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that private pile?
Sir, jelly donuts, sir!
A jelly donut?
Okay. Uncle Joe, hook me up. So, push rod bellows for coming out the back. For your steering, servo mount, go through that. A through transom, that's a bulkhead water line fitting. Drive dog and blind nuts, washers, prop nut, shaft, collet, water output, and a servo extension with a lock. How nice is that? This is fancy. Ooh, fancy. So, what we're using for guts in this is obviously a 4S boat, okay? My buddy in our chat group, Jeffy, sent me brand new, never even used them. I offered to pay for them. He's too good a guy. He said, no, I'm not going to use them. You can have them.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
Okay. 120 amp Marini SC should hold up okay. And then the Dynamite 2000 kV. Now, normally I would not use a 2000 kV. I would probably do a 2500 or 2200 kV, but that's okay. It's got a little bit of paint on it. Yeah, it's never been used, but we'll clean that paint off. All right. But he's like, oh, I've never used it, just in the boxes. It was copacetic there. So what we're going to do is we're going to fit. I'm going to get the paint off this here. Shop rag with a little bit of acetone and wipe that right off. See? Yeah, that might have been from me. I don't think that was from him. Alright. I'll fast forward through this. You can see I've got, that paint's probably from me because I was painting the inside of the skiff. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take out this collet. And it should pass right through there. Yeah, it does. We got to mount our motor first. Okay, just like that. fine. Then I'm not going to torque these down just yet, because what we're going to do is we've got to get our ski on the bottom of this boat. Now remember, I need to sand this down real quick on the sides. Much easier to sand this down now than after you put it on the boat. So I'll hit that with the orbital and just knock it off. And we got to thin this out a little bit. No big deal. So we have to put this on, but obviously it's going to go like this, and we got to get our shaft tube in there first. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to mount this motor with 2 screws. That way we can have our shaft placement. All right. So I will go ahead and do that right now. So we've got her mounted in. I just used 2 screws, so she's centered up. No big deal. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring this guy, give or take, to right about there. Now, okay, close enough. Where'd my Sharpies go? My girls, my daughters, steal my Sharpies all the time. And we're going to sand that with some 100 grit, or you can use 80, whatever you want. Just make it rough. We're going to roughen it up just so the epoxy has something to bind to. Now usually I use a drill for this, but since this is pre-bent, that'd be rather difficult to do. We're just going to rough this up. Now if you want to, I can't remember what the manual says. I have not sealed the inside of this yet. So what I recommend you do, we're going to slide it in there just like that. If you've already sealed this, sand through the sealing, so when you go to epoxy this thing on there, you've got a nice setup there. Okay, so then I'm going to take a piece of tape. Not that. That's not a nice piece of tape.
I want any. Well, you're gonna get it.
Okay. Now, the manual might say, I was saying before, put on the strut first. I don't do it that way. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to slide in our shaft. Just for, this should be immaculately close. Yeah. Look at that. Perfection. Alright, that's nice and taped up. Then what I do is I take a little bit of CA, and of course it's all bound up. Where's my lighter? Alright. I do a little bit of CA just to tack it so nothing slips. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay? Now, I know that's not going to move. You can leave the shaft in if you want to. That's fine. Take our rag, clean this out a little bit. Alright, next thing we're going to do, and this is pretty much the same process for any boat you build, that you have to put a shaft tube in. Now, this boat does not have a stuffing tube or a stuffing box. A lot of people get those mixed up. Alright, and who cares about the nomenclature? It's really not a big deal. But a shaft tube is what we're putting in. A stuffing box, or a stuffing tube, is what the shaft tube will slide into. Now in bigger boats like gassers and things like that, a lot of times we will put in a stuffing box or stuffing tube that is permanent into the boat. And then, you've probably seen this in my videos, and then we'll take this shaft and put it into that and put a drop of solder on it. That way if you ever bend your prop shaft or whatever, you're good to go. You can just unsolder that, pull it out, put in a new shaft without tearing the bottom of your boat up. So, where the hell's my epoxy? There it is. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up. We're going to make sure this is, you don't have to make it level, but I don't want it going to one end or the other. Nothing fancy, just winging it. Alright, we're going to mix up some epoxy with our micro balloons, You can use 30, you can use 10. I've never had 10 give out on a small boat like this. Not a lot of vibration. You know, 10 usually works fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mix some of this up. Man, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Down in, I'll put up some pictures maybe. My wife has all the pictures, but down in Myrtle Beach it was 80 degrees, and we had a condo on the 4th floor, beach, pools, all that crap, which I'm not used to. I'm a redneck. I like my good old-fashioned lake and seawall, but whatever. They had fun, and I did too. It was a good time. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of this in here. And give it a little bit of thickening up. Okay. Easy. Now, that brush sucks. Alright. So all we're going to do now, I'll zoom in maybe. Some magical editing. You don't need a ton. If you've got like a huge blob up there, it really doesn't do you any good except add more weight to your boat. So I'm going in the bulkhead somewhat neatly on both sides. And as long as we don't run with a horribly out of balanced prop, because an out of balance prop really makes your boat vibrate. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of double there. A double! Really don't care if it's pretty. I think my boats look alright. I mean, I'm not a master builder by any stretch, but they hold together and they run well, so they usually look good on the outside. But I've always just been that dude that's like, I'm not going to sand the inside of a boat. I refuse to do it. It takes too much time. I don't give a shit what the inside looks like. I'm going to put a little bit of extra. Got it, might as well use it. I was thinking about that with my skiff, because I could have done a better job on the inside. And I got drips here and there, and it ain't pretty. I don't give a shit what it looks like on the inside. Alright, cool. We're going to let that cut. Then we're going to attach our ski, which is real simple to do. So all we're going to do is center the ski basically, but I'm going to go ahead and sand this down. Be right back. So what I'm going to do is sand these edges. Got a little bit of overhang, hardly any at all. Joe did a great job with the design of this. And then I'm going to flatten this out a little bit so it's real, there's no bump when we attach it to the hull. Okay? We'll sand the top to get a nice grit on it. It is important when we put this on the bottom of the boat that we need to seal the wood that's going to be underneath this. So I'm going to mix up extra epoxy. We're going to use 30-minute, and we're actually going to seal. We're going to put a glue bead down about that wide, and that way underneath here is sealed on the hull, on the tub, so it doesn't rot out. Don't forget to do that. Bad day at the zoo. All right, I'll be right back. And we're back. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to put that strut on. Now, you already had 2 pre-drilled holes back here for it. Okay? Pretty much only one way to go. Then, this is your bushing. It's going to ride in there. Alright? Reduces the friction on the shaft. Now, what we need to do next is we need to cut this tube. It's right about there. Okay? So what I do with actually this one doesn't even need cut. Never mind. These are the right size. Thank you, Uncle Joe. Okay. And we're just going to slide this through here. Very simple. I'm not going to tighten anything up. Okay. After we get the ski on, I think we're ready to seal it. Trim down the cover. Be pretty sweet. Okay. Now, just going to leave it just like that. Beautiful. Now, that bushing should slide in and out nice and easy. Okay? Put that over here. Then, how to do the ski. The ski I already sanded down. We roughed up the top a bit. That's pretty much how your ski is going to go. Now, what I usually do is I eyeball it, honestly. I center it up with the strut. Where's my caliper? Oh, crapola. Alright, I'll be right back. Here we go. I'm just going to eyeball this guy. And this is how I do it. So I'll measure... Oh, maybe. To there. And we'll see how close I am by eye. Dead nuts. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that distance. I'm going to mark it just in case. Okay. Then I'm going to take that exact same measurement. I'm still holding this down. Oops, too far. Right there. And it should be good. And double check. I think it was right the first time. Alright. We're going to double check ourselves. Looks good. Okay. And then, while holding it down, I do that. Now, the reason I do it that way, oh, perfect. And you want to bring it up so it's right at the edge, that lip right there. Okay. The reason I bring it up like that, or draw it like this, is because we're going to have to make sure this is sealed under here. So I'm going to mix up enough epoxy to seal this, and then we're going to just basically put epoxy here, put this down, tape the crap out of it, and then we will wipe the excess off. You could clamp it too if you wanted to, but tape's pretty good. And then we're just going to wipe off the excess so I don't have to sand a ton of it. Now, sometimes it is a good idea to sand this before you do this if you want to. It makes life a little bit easier. No big deal. We're just going to use a sand block to make this simple. So, I'm going to use... I got 30 minute over there, 5 minute over there. Where's that crummy ass? I guess we can use this. Okay, I'm going to use 30 minute. We're going to mix it up. And I'm not going to thin it. I'm just going to use normal. And I'm going to try not to go out around the edge. Now, one of the things you can do, make your life a wee bit easier. On the cleanup side of things, I'll go just past it. Okay? Now, I don't have to worry about wiping all that stuff off. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll sand it a little bit. Easy peasy, baby. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and we'll be right back. Find that funky 15-minute stuff, because I don't feel like waiting all day for this. Stuff seems to work okay. It's just a funky wait time. Half an hour, give or take. You can manhandle it. And on a day like today where it's a little bit warmer finally, it's 70. Be real nice. Alright. Okay. Now, I've already sealed the ski on the inside, so we don't need to do any of that. Now you can be a little bit crazier with your epoxy. You don't have to be totally perfect, but this is going to seal it. Kill two birds with one stone. I try to work efficiently. I mean, I like taking my time and enjoying the build, don't get me wrong, as much as the next guy. But when it's just waiting around for glue to dry, that can't take it. I just can't take it. So I try to be as efficient as I can with doing it that way. Okay. Now, go a little bit heavier on these edges. I'm going to roll the brush. It's like Bob Smith, or not Bob Smith, what was this? Oh my gosh, come on. Happy Little Trees. Bob Ross. Bob Ross of boat building here. Just happy little epoxy. It's very nice. Okay. There. Alright. Now we can take our ski and literally put it right on there. Make sure you're lined up. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Now if you want to, you can probably reuse this tape. Not going to bother. Now I still have this set up. So we're going to go right there. Right there. Hot wife interruption. Alright. Good. Good. Alright. So now, we'll tape it on the nose. So what I do is I lay it across the nose first. Double check yourself. Again, make sure. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, before I do this, I'm going to take my brush, and in case there's any gaps, we're just going to fill them up with this epoxy here. And plus, this will help smooth out if there were any bumpity-doos or oozies coming out. Oozies? Like guns? Alright. This way, if there is any tiny little gaps. But we built her nice and flat, so there shouldn't be. But just in case, never know. Now, we're going to finish taping. And like I said, I might even put a weight on here too. I'm not a fan of taping. Tape to me is, if you can't have any other way, or the angle's just a bitch, you can't get weights on there, but I can get weights on the ski all day. But I don't want to just weight it down either, because I don't want it moving. Okay, we'll slap a couple weights on there. That there. Good enough. Alright, we'll let that cook for a few minutes, and we'll be back. Alright, we're back. So, everything turned out real good. Nice and glued up. Everything's happy. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hit this with the sander real quick. It's a pretty clean build, so I don't really have anywhere to fill or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this, and the reason I say it's a clean build is I'm not going to paint it. I've got the sponsons ready to paint. They've been sanded, primed, all that stuff, and I'm going to paint those. The tub, we're going to leave clear, or just natural wood. We'll put decals on it, and that'll be about it. And then I'm going to seal the inside first right now, and then tonight try to paint the canopy and the sponsons, and then we'll clear coat the entire thing and seal it tomorrow. That's the plan. All right. As for the nose piece, I put the nose pieces on the sponsons. No, I didn't. I still have to do that yet. Okay, I forgot. So I still have the nose pieces. So I 3D printed my own, and they look like this. Nothing fancy. So with the nose pieces, they're going to go on like that, and you're going to have a touch of overhang right there. You want that overhang. That's a little excessive, but I don't think it'll break the bank. And then that'll be it. So that's what I'm going to do. Usually when I sand these with an orbital, because these are really easy to do with an orbital sander, I put down a towel. It keeps it from really vibrating and getting all scarred up. So that's what we're going to do. So until tomorrow, maybe you'll see a finished boat. We'll see. We still have to do the guts, obviously. So anyway, keep dry side up, kids. Bye.